Hey there, my friends. Welcome back to the Creative Shop Talk podcast. This is episode number 295. You guys, I can't believe it's 295. We're so close to 300. I'm just blown away. Thank you for being here. I just realized, and I don't know why I didn't realize this before, just realized that this is my 7th year podcasting. 7 years. Thank you for listening, my friends. Thank you for listening and making us such a popular podcast. We keep ranking high and on all the global podcast stat thingies. That's very professional, isn't it? But I just want to take a minute to say thank you for listening. There would be no podcast if you weren't listening. So I appreciate you listening. I appreciate when you share the podcast with fellow shop owners. That helps us be found by more and more shop owners around the globe. Also, shout out to everybody globally. I don't know if you know this, but I'm podcasting and I work from a little tiny fishing village in Nova Scotia, Canada. So right now, as I'm recording this, I am looking out at my lobster fishing neighbor. He's out lobster fishing. He's catching lobster. And it's freezing cold out. And some days when I'm having a hard day or a busy day or a stressful day, I look out and I'm like, wow, Josh is out there catching lobster on the back of a boat, pulling traps up out of the freezing cold Atlantic. Anyhow, putting things in perspective. But I'm saying that and I'm sharing where I am because wherever in the world you are, and I know we have listeners globally, and I'm just so grateful that you're listening and happy. And I want to just shout out hi wherever you are. First of all, I hope it's someplace warm, not so cold as it is here in my community. But I just wanted to maybe share that a little bit so we have a little bit of connection between you and me. And wherever you are in the world, thank you for listening. And as I said, love it when you share the podcast with other people. We have retailers globally with the same issues and challenges and opportunities and joy and impact and community building. And it's just really exciting to me to be able to work with, speak with, and share experiences globally. So thank you for listening. And none of that was on my podcast notes for today, but I don't know, I felt called to say that today. So thank you for being here. Episode 295. We're going to talk about something a little bit maybe weird today. We're going to talk about the questions that maybe you should ask yourself about staying as the owner of your shop, or keep being the owner of your shop. Is it time to go? Is it time to stay? What is my role here? All of those questions. Over the last few weeks, it happens every year at the end of a calendar year and at the beginning, after Q4, everybody's thinking about it. After January, everybody's thinking about it. They're thinking about the future of their business and they're thinking about their roles. And I have such great conversations. I love January, my friends. January, February, March are my favorite months as a business coach because it's just lots of really great things happening. So before you do any kind of change in your business, if you're wondering what to think about, we're going to do what we call a global assessment. So this is just a few questions. So get out your journals today, get out your notebooks. These are a few questions that I love to ask clients when they call, when we have our connection meetings, because sometimes we think there's a problem or we think there's an opportunity. And I just want you to think in possibilities. And again, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, I love to say that. We like to think in possibilities. So before we jump to a conclusion that everything's hard or too hard, and again, 30 years self-employed, my friends, there's lots of moments in my life, in my businesses, where I have had to do this assessment as well, wondering if this is the time to go. This is not going to be deep into numbers and all of that today, because it's really sometimes not just about that. So if you're running a brick and mortar and you've ever wondered, is it time to sell? Am I just tired? What's my next thing? Or where am I going with this business? This is the episode for you. Okay, let's jump in. Running a retail business doesn't have to be so hard. Welcome to the Creative Shop Talk podcast, the go-to podcast for creative shop owners, studio owners, and independent retailers. I'm your host, Wendy Batten, retail business coach and mentor. Each week, I'll share simple, proven business strategies, inspiring stories from fellow retailers, and advice from industry experts. Together, we're going to work to find the success you want from your retail business with more profits in your till and a little more joy in your life. Okay, my friend, before you assume that the answer is to leave or make a change or make a big, bold thing, let's talk about looking at the big picture, just getting an understanding of where we are, a snapshot, if you will. So here's a few questions. I'm going to give you 5 questions today to think about in your brick and mortar business, in your business, to see if it still aligns and makes sense. So the biggest one is, do you still want to be the owner if your role changed? So what I mean by that is brick and mortar owners often think that the problem or the obstacle or the reason for the tension is the business itself. But sometimes it's the role. It's the role you're playing. So for example, I have a client and the business is great, and I hope yours is as well. Business is good, but she was really tired, and her role in that business was chief of everything, CEO, was doing everything. Does that sound familiar? Even though she had a great team and even though things were great, she was the one covering shifts and managing staff issues and all of those things. So we changed the role because she was thinking of selling. And now, oh my gosh, we have changed her role. So now she is the CEO. She's not doing all of those other things. She's learned how, and we've walked through, and she did not think that was possible. I just want to remind you. So if your role changes and you can't see through, that's actually the work that I do with a lot of people, but she couldn't see that. So maybe you're just tired of the role you're playing in your business. Not necessarily that you're tired of ownership. There's a difference. Owning a business is completely different than the roles that we play in it. So if you're tired of the ownership versus the role, that's one question to really think about it. If your role evolved, here's the bottom line. If your role evolved, would the answer change? If your role changed in the business and how you're showing up in the business, that's one that's pretty important, right? Number 2, is the shop paying you fairly without you working crazy hours and putting too much into it? This is actually a big one. I know a lot of retailers are making a really good income, but if they leave, the income leaves. So what is, when we go back to that role and also about the hours, this is not about hustle, this is about math. So could the business pay you really well, 40 to 50 hours a week, whatever it is, if you weren't there or if your role changed? Again, back to that role thing. So sometimes we just have to look at the numbers, and the numbers have to work. And that would be part of this question. Is the business profitable? Is it still viable? Is it still a good business? And again, we can work on the numbers. A lot of times we think the business isn't as profitable as it could, or you can't step away. Again, this is what I just did with another client. She was able to continue taking her full salary. I want you to listen. If you've drifted off for a minute, takes her full salary and is not in the shop very much. Her whole role in the shop is now actually mostly just high level management of the shop or ownership of the shop, but she has managers doing everything now because we changed margins, we changed all the numbers in her business. Like, we did it on purpose, right? We did it with intention. So if it's the money situation, I guess is where I'm going with this one, would you still want to stay as the business owner? The next one, question number 3 is, would the business break if you stepped away? So is this the tension? Is this what's one of your questions? Is this where your big tension is? If you step away and you don't have systems in place and you don't have people in place, if you took a couple of weeks off, and again, this is where a lot of retailers that come to me, they say, I just want to go, I have a new grandbaby, or I want to go do more. I have a client whose husband retired and they wanted to RV more. And she said, I can't take that much time away. So that's my question. If you took too much time away, and is that the tension? Is that the challenge? I don't like saying problems. I like saying obstacles or challenges. So if everything depends on you, the business hasn't been designed well. It hasn't been designed to support an owner with a life. Again, that's what we want to do for you. If everything depends on you. So we don't want that to be. We want your business to align with your life. And if your life means you can't be there, there's a certain stage, yes, at the beginning of any business where you have to be involved. I'm not saying that's not sunshine and roses. However, I'm going to tell you over and over again, I see lots of retailers able to step away for a long time. So if that's the thing, that's the challenge or the obstacle for you, that's fixable. That's something we can work on. That's something that we can change if you want to design a business where you're not in there all the time and you're not the bottleneck. I'm trying to think, what is that word? Bottleneck. If you're not the bottleneck, we help create systems, we can help you look at your numbers, all of that. We want to design a business that supports your life. So that's the whole goal of this, right? Number 4. Does this shop still fit the life you want now? I'm saying that slow because sometimes I see that retail has seasons. We all know retail is seasonal, but so is life. So maybe this is a time where the business was really exciting 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 12 years ago, 20 years ago, but things have changed in your life. Does the business still fit the life that you want now? And it's okay if it doesn't. If it's okay if it's not part of your future dreams, it's okay. It's okay to change and evolve. Sometimes everything is perfect in the business. It's running really well, but your season has changed. So it might be a time to think about selling. That's actually the case for one of my clients. She built this incredible business. She has a beautiful business. Everything is awesome. She actually wasn't even working in the business on a day-to-day basis. She's stepped away. We've been working together for a long time. And this year she just said, Wendy, this is not the business that I want to be in anymore. And it's okay. It's okay. She's all worried about it. Now, this is also where I'm going to remind you that this is also where we sell a business and why we are building businesses with really strong, even if we think we're never going to sell it. This woman never thought she would ever sell her business, but just life situations and it's a good time for her to sell it. I'm going to remind you, episode 159 of the Creative Shop Talk podcast, we talk about, there's a whole bunch of us here in my studio. No, I share all of the things that you need to have in place to have a really great sellable business. And even if you're not selling it, which this particular retailer never planned to sell, but did implement all of those things. We've been working together a long time. She has the numbers and this team and the systems. But right now, this business doesn't align with their future. She has made some changes. So her business is up for sale, and I think it's sold. Actually, by the time this podcast comes live, she has probably had it sold by now. It was all in the works right now. So sometimes everything is awesome. It's okay. And it's okay to change the season of your time. It's okay to change your mind if it's the season for you to do that. And sometimes, I don't know, I meet with people sometimes and it's almost like they need permission to change your mind. It's okay. It's all good. And part of that, let's go into question number 5. Is there still curiosity about loving on this business and improving the business? Is there still curiosity? And curiosity means, are you still really proud to own this business and want to improve it and make it better? It's a pretty simple question. When you think about updating and changing and the future of this business, where do you see this business? Are you curious about what's possible for this business 3 to 5 years down the road? Do you still love it? Do you still love it? Are you curious about what's possible? Or are you just done thinking about it? Curiosity means there's something worth working towards. There's something, when your curiosity is gone, that's important information to me, and always tells me. So we work on that sometimes. It's like, why go down, untangle that question a little bit as to why, because sometimes, and now the curiosity could be because you're beat down with team or something along those lines, but we can work on those things. But do you still honestly, deep down inside, are you proud of this business? Are you proud to tell people that you love this business? Are you excited to see what happens in the future with this business? Those are really important questions. They're all really important questions to just start thinking of this global view of your business and how you feel about it in this business. I have had the privilege and the pleasure to work with retailers who have done this assessment, and there's deeper and there's a lot more things to ask and go through and talk about the future of your business. Of course, there's the numbers. Of course, there's what's possible. And I say that with a big heart because there's so many things that are possible. And again, that is one of the things I love to share with people. I love to help people with. I see possibilities maybe where you don't, or opportunities, or just we can co-create some different things for you. I'm also a truth teller, and I will tell you, it sounds like you're done. Let's work together to get this. And I say that because if you're just done, that's okay too. Again, as I said earlier, it's okay too. But please don't make assumptions that because you're tired maybe, or because things aren't working really well, or there's a problem. And this is maybe a bonus number 6. What is the problem? If you've thought about all this, if you can clearly articulate on a piece of paper, write down in 1 or 2 sentences, what is the problem? And again, I don't like saying problems, but that might be what's in your head. What is the obstacle, the challenge, or the problem? Write it out clearly on a piece of paper. Bring it to me. I can help you. I can either tell you, yeah, that's a problem, or that's not, we can fix that. But clearly identify what the problem is before you make any kind of drastic changes in your business. And again, I want to remind you, you've built this business, you're building a business. Don't give away the farm. Don't just close it, please. And also be realistic about the opportunities to sell it. I'm watching retailers selling their business. I'm watching them sell them to their team. There's all kinds of opportunities to step away from your business. I have retailers who are no longer involved in the day-to-day at all with their business, but they still own it. They're an asset share holder of their business, and other people run it. There's all kinds of cool things you can do. So don't throw away that. I always forget the name of this. Forget that before I even jump in. Don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Don't make rush decisions. Think through all these things. And please don't make decisions from a place of tired. The other advice around decisions is please make decisions with other people. Doesn't have to me. Go find another coach. This is something I do, but go find advisors who don't have a stake in the game. And what I mean by that, don't go just talk to your banker or your accountant even, because accountants, they are just looking at the spreadsheet. They're not looking at the heart. They're not looking at the opportunity. They're not looking at what's possible in the retail world. They're not. Don't go to your spouse. Because they just see how tired you are. They're like, yep, that's it. Or maybe the opposite. They might see that the business is doing really well and they're too close. Don't go to your best friend. Don't even go to your best biz buddy because they're too close. Sometimes we need an outside perspective on our business who is a truth teller and who can care deeply. Also, please watch for grenade throwers. I've shared that comment or that conversation here on the podcast before if you haven't heard me say that, but a grenade thrower is the person who's always blowing up things in your life. Maybe it's a key employee, somebody who just keeps sabotaging things. They're not the person. And when I said that, you might have immediately thought of, yeah, you know what, Susie's a grenade thrower, just blowing up ideas or whatever. Just get some outside perspective. I just want to urge you to do that. Again, doesn't have to be me, I do that, but that doesn't necessarily just need to be me. Go find an advisor, go find somebody who does not have a stake in the game, who's not a close personal friend or associate. There's all kinds of other business mentors, maybe in your community. Find somebody in your community who you admire and you align with, or who you would consider a mentor, and ask them if you can buy them a cup of coffee and have a conversation, and just, if they have a moment to do this, to have a conversation with you about a different perspective of your business. That is so invaluable. I actually encourage you to do that anyways. It's always a great thing to do in your community and to get to know more mentors in your world. Okay, my friends, I hope this has been helpful, because I feel like you need clarity. It's always good to have a little bit of clarity. Hope you have some journal prompts written down. The mistake that I see people making is deciding before they understand what's actually driving the tension. I just want to be clear on that before we sign off. The mistake is deciding before you have a clear understanding of what's driving the tension. What is that tension? So I've seen all kinds of retailers decide to sell, decide to not sell. There's all kinds of, there's a solution to every problem, or everything has a solution. There is a solution to everything. How many times can I say that? But anyhow, there is a solution to everything. And please know that you're doing good work. And I know you're working hard and you're doing such amazing things for your community. I know you are. If you're listening to this, you're already interested in expanding your thoughts around business. So I'm so happy that you're here listening to us this week. I hope you have a fantastic week. I want to remind you again, episode 159 is a great one to go listen. We'll have that in the podcast show notes. It's a great one to go revisit the things that we need to have in place, whether we're selling or not selling or moving. It's a really great grounding episode. I want to remind you that's there. And I hope to see you back here next week, same time, same place. Oh, I have a great interview for you next week with a fabulous retailer doing amazing things. You're just going to love that. So I'm not even going to tell you who it is, because I want you to come and listen. All right, my friends, we'll talk to you next week, same time, same place. Have a fabulous week. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm so glad that you were here to join us this week, and I hope you found value in what we're sharing here. I want to remind you that our website has all of the show notes. You can find it at wendybatten.com/podcast. Everything that you need to hear about today's podcast is there. Also an opportunity if you need to reach out to me. If I can support you in any way whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. So thanks for joining us. Please leave a review, subscribe if you can, and never miss an episode. We hope to see you back here again next week. Thanks, my friend. Have a great week.